This Warlock Nova Warp build is insane for ad clearing, even in harder endgame master activities and probably even a Grandmaster. You'll get fast, unlimited and infinite abilities, health regen on all ability kills, and you'll even get to have some fun with the Nova Warp Super. Just don't get yeeted into a wall and you'll be golden. Now I've used this build in Master Nightfalls just to show that these builds can work in almost any activity, but like all end game modes, you can't expect to run in and do your thing without dying like you can in a Lost Sector, so you'll have to be smart about how you use it in a Master and Grandmaster activity. Now that said, like, comment, sub, share, intro. Now briefly, to those who have been following along my build videos, you'll know that we are coming up to almost 30 build videos, and this playlist will sadly be slowing down or finishing up with build videos for season 13 as we are approaching season 14. But don't worry, because when season 14 launches I do have plans for a lot more content, so stay tuned for that. Also, before we start, if you do want to see that playlist of all my build videos this season, the link is everywhere. Well, okay, it's below. Go check it out if you want later, but now let's start already. Getting straight into the loadout, throw on a void energy weapon. I'll tell you why later, just do it. But for this purpose I'm going with a bottom dollar, as mine ruled with a fresh perk that grants bonus super energy on kills and is generally a nice weapon to use, but of course make adjustments to suit the activity you're heading into. For the primary I'm using a sniper rifle. Suggestions: Eye of Saw is okay, Succession is probably better. Well, no, I mean, it is better. Don't ask why I'm not using it, because I'm just not. But I chose Anarchy for the heavy, but you can use the Lament or whatever you like best. But that is the loadout I've chosen specifically for a Grandmaster Proving Grounds Nightfall, and honestly, I'd probably even use the same for a Grandmaster version. Now for the subclass, go ahead and throw on that Nova Warp. Something fun and different to use, and most of you probably never used it, or you're here because you want to use it. Well, anyway, this comes with Atomic Breach, where melee abilities create a void explosion, Dark Matter, where void ability kills grant health and melee, grenade and class ability energy, which is actually pretty good. But lastly, Handheld Supernova, where you can convert your grenade into a short range void blast, which I don't personally like and wouldn't recommend wasting a grenade on that, but if you like it, use it. But finally, throw on a Vortex Grenade, because they are just one of the best grenades in the game. Now moving into the helmet, we are using the exotic Nezarec Sin, I hope I pronounced that right, and anyone can get this by a drop chance from the exotic world loot or by Xur on the weekends. Now this gives you a perk where void damage kills increase ability energy recharge rate, and I believe lasts around a few seconds, but this shouldn't be an issue as we are going to constantly be getting void kills. And for our armor mods, we have Heavy Handed to regain half of our melee ability energy when using a charged melee ability, which you can slot in an arc mod if you want for its secondary perk for infinite shotgun ammo. But again, for this build specifically, I wouldn't recommend it, as a shotgun would ideally need to be void as well. However, for the gauntlets, we are using a new elemental ordnance mod to spawn elemental wells on grenade kills, an unstoppable hand cannon for our bottom dollar, and an anti-barrier sniper, and you'll only want to use these in activities with champions, otherwise you can change these out. But for the chest, we are using the Taken Charge to become Charger Light on all pickups. This is ideal, especially in Grandmaster Nightfalls, so you can become Charger Light more easily. I also went with Sniper Rifle Reserves, as our sniper will be our secondary DPS weapon if we run out of heavy ammo, and Concussive Dampener to reduce area of effect damage. But for the legs, we are using Firepower to regain grenade energy when using a grenade, and using these two Charger Light mods will help you consistently chain those abilities nicely. But then we have Absolution for reduced ability cooldown. Now for the class though, we're using the Elemental Charge to help us gain Charger Light stacks quicker with our orb pickups, and this works by picking up an Elemental Well from your grenade kills, which also gives you ability energy on top, whilst giving you 2 stacks of Charger Light. Now how this works is you'll first throw a grenade to get a kill, pick up the well it drops, giving you 2 stacks of Charger Light, use your melee ability, then throw a grenade to get another kill, consuming both stacks of Charger Light and giving you free energy, then pick up the well from the grenade kill again and just repeat. Sometimes you may not instantly get your ability back, but you just top it off with a few void kills using the exotic helmet. Finally though, in the class we also have Bomber for reduced grenade cooldown when using your class, and Focusing Lens for additional damage against targets affected by stasis. Pretty nice to help you get void ability kills easier in those harder activities, assuming your team are using stasis. This is a void ability Nova Warp build, so ideally you want to max out Discipline, as we will be relying mostly on grenade kills to help us chain infinite abilities. So with this build you might ask, can I take it into a Grandmaster Nightfall? Well, the short answer is yes, and you can take pretty much anything into a Grandmaster, but it depends how you use the build in there, because as I mentioned earlier, you can't just expect to run in and get infinite melee ability kills without dying, because we all know that enemies in there will kill you in a few shots, and no build regardless will stop that. So play it smart, stay back, and use your abilities when appropriate. If your team throws a stasis grenade at an enemy, then that's the perfect time to finish them off with your void grenade and get the 2 stacks of charge of light. If you're using your super to clear the room, just make sure you're not going to get melted with champions shooting at you. Now, of course, there are always much better meta builds out there to use, like the Infinite Well of Radiance build, but this one is pretty good in terms of fast ad clearing and staying alive, with health being added on ability kills. But that is all for this one, and next, perhaps you should go check out the playlist for all my other crazy builds. But for now, as always, rate, comment, sub and share, or leave your feedback in the comments regarding this build and what your favourite builds are, and I'll see you all in the next one.